Are you hardcore technical person and you want to take your career to the architect level? Do you know, being a technical architect, what skills you need to adapt and required to be a more effective technical architect? So in this video, I'm going to talk about what skills you need to require to be a more effective technical architect in your organization. So this is my own journey. I was a technical person, and this is as per my experience. I have listed the hardcore skills you need to require to adapt that effective technical architect person. So let's see what all those. So getting that title of technical architect is very easy, but justifying your role being a technical architect is little difficult. So let's see what all things are there. So there are some common things you need to take care of, but apart from that, you need to know some architectural pattern, data architect things, cloud architect thing, network architect thing, product architect thing, web application architect thing, system architect thing. Security is very, very important, and you need to know those things also. And there are some architectural characteristics we will see. And apart from that, there are some frameworks in order to really bring that title as a technical architect. So let's start with some common characteristic being a technical architect. So as a technical architect, you need to understand the file format very well, whether you are working in distributed file format or on operating level file format. So you need to understand the file format in a far, far better way. Or even if suppose you are not working on a basic file format, but as per your product and tool, how the data is being stored in the backend, in which file format it is being used, what data structure is being used inside that file format. So that you need to know to really master your technical journey. Apart from that, there are data replication strategies like asynchronous replication, synchronous replication, disaster recovery plan, documentation tools you need to take care of. Means many time as a technical architect, you will be documenting lots of things and you need to preserve them properly. So that's where Wiki and SharePoint plays very important role. So while defining your agreement or your project timelines, so you need to take care of SLA, what is service level agreement, what is service level objectives, what are service level indicators, what are the KPI, key performance indicator, and what are the benchmarks will be involved as part of your contract, as part of your software development. So those are the skills you need to know as part of your technical architect journey. So as part of the technical architect, you need to be very diligent in selecting technology stack. So when I say this, suppose you are working on Microsoft technology, so better to select everything related with Microsoft technology. So for example, if you are planning to use database while using Microsoft technology, so better go for MS SQL rather than going for Oracle. So this is just suggestion. It is not the rule of thumb you need to follow that way, but it is always advisable. Now coming to the next part is about batch processing. So you need to understand what all the batches and how they are interconnected with each other and how to schedule them. So that understanding is very important as part of being technical architect. Requirement gathering and domain understanding is again plays very important role. So I have seen many technical people, they are damn good in their technology, but they are failing to understand that requirement and they fail to grab the domain of their area of work. So you need to parallelly work on domain understanding as well. Now coming to the most crucial part. So when you work as a technical architect, so it is not just technical skills, but you need to coordinate with the key stakeholders in the project. So the people, those who influence the decision, the people who define the budget, escalate the budget, core team and building technical team, monitoring and grooming the team, setting up the culture of cooperation and learning within the team. That is very important being a senior technical architect in the team. Then code of honor, that is very important. So generally what I have seen, many people, they don't at the project level, they don't have any code of honor. But what I'll suggest strongly, when your team size grows, then you need to give them one specific flow, and that can be intact using some code of honor. So when you define code of honor, means those are the principle by which your team needs to adhere. Now coming to the next part, which is mentorship. So no doubt, as part of the technical leadership, you need to play the role of mentorship also. Coming to the next part, that is hardware and software cost estimate and licensing requirement. So people are good in technical part, but they are very good in estimating the cost associated with the specific tools and their licensing requirements. So you need to be very diligent on that side as well. Then managing POCs, proof of concept and proof of verification as per business and technical requirement, that is very important. Then troubleshooting and analysis is a day-to-day bread and butter of any technical person. And communication and critical thinking, design thinking, these are again wider aspect of being a technical architect. So these are some of the technicals or common skills required to be a effective technical architect. Now coming to the next part, which is architectural patterns. So many times when we start the development, we start it in a monolithic way. But as and when we fine tune our architecture, so we need to think about microservices architect, then service oriented architect, serverless architect, service mesh architect, 12 factor applications. So what are those and how you can design your application in a better way, that will become under architectural pattern. Coming to the next part, which is data architect. So when you are dealing with the programming and designing your application, database designing plays very important role. There are dedicated data modeler also in the team. So if you are really planning to shape your career as a data engineer, you need to master the data architect skills. And what is their data engineering path? So please go and refer what is there in my data engineering career path, and you will understand what skills you need to adapt as part of your data engineering journey. But apart from that, if I want to talk, you need to understand data modeling, physical storage, logical storage, data warehouse modeling, domain understanding. Again, it's very plays very important role while defining your high level requirement to the low level requirement. Then backup and recovery strategy. So there are snapshot backup, differential backup, incremental backup, transactional backup, how you can configure and manage them at various tools and technology level, you need to understand. Data stewardship, data quality framework, then data integration framework, and the tools you need to understand. And when it comes to the data security plays very important role. And there are various stages of data security. Means when your data is at the rest, you need to use data encryption, masking, anonymization, predation, these technologies or concept you need to use, and the respective tool you need to implement in order to make it productionize. Coming to the next part, which is data at motion. So in order to secure your data over the network, you need to use SSL and TLS. But apart from that, there are other ways also you can use. Then data access and security framework, you need to define different roles, users, their group, access policies, and nowadays two-factor authentication is very popular. So you need to implement that as well. Coming to the next part, that is data privacy. Nowadays, people are very conscious about their data and how it is being used after collected by different organizations. So you need to know GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, this data privacy. Apart from that, we have CCPA, HIPAA. When it comes to the healthcare organization, HIPAA is very popular. Then PDA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Then personal information identification. So all these things plays very important role when it comes to the data privacy laws. Coming to the next part, as a journey of data architect. So even if you are hardcore data architect, still you need to know web technology, cloud databases by default, it will be there, ETL technology, hardware cost and budgeting, it is also important as part of the data architect role. Then data tools tax selection. So as per your technology, you need to propose respective tools stack as part of your greater role in a data architect space. Then tools and library compatibility. So what kind of version you are using, and that version is compatible with which other tools and technology within your project, within your product, that plays very important role. So that's where also you can help your development team. So that is all about data architect role. Coming to the next part, which is cloud architect. So nowadays, many applications moving in a cloud space. So that's where you need to know few basic concepts related with cloud computing. So that's where networking protocols, then data governance, virtualization, data network and data security, web technology, on-premise to cloud movement, cloud cost management. That is very important role. So many people know various cloud technology, but they are very weak. What is the cost effective solution of those tools and technology? So cloud security, again, very important thing. Microservices consumption, so how those microservices are being consumed and cost, that is very important when it comes to the uh, cloud architect role. Apart from that, data file formats like JSON, XML, YAML, BSON, various delimited file formats are there like CSV, TSV, and many more other file formats are also like binary, non-binary. So you need to take care of all those file formats. Then solution compatibility. So whatever you are implementing in which toolkit as part of your cloud solution, you need to really check the compatibility and adaptability and larger picture of your implementation as part of your cloud architect role. Coming to the cloud designing, so that's where you need to take care of availability, right? If something goes wrong, still your application should be in a running mode. Data management, design and implementation, management and monitoring. That is very important. So once you productionize your application, you need to manage its failure and monitor if something goes wrong in that application. So that's where your role as a cloud architect is very important. So that is all about cloud architect. Now moving to the network architect. So in whatever space you are as an architect, you need to know many and depth concept of networking. And that's where you need to understand networking devices, networking communication protocols, how network security is implemented at enterprise level, cloud and virtual networking, then hybrid cloud setup and its integration, how it is being managed and how you can make it more effective. Data traffic analysis and performance management is again very important role as being a network architect. Then threat detection and response time, vulnerability management, disaster network plan, and remote connection management. These are some of the key things you need to know as part of your network architect career. As part of your service or IT solutioning, so that's where you need to know the end-to-end product stack and its selection process very diligently. Version control and management, no doubt it plays very important role. Then product feature management and release plan, that is again very important thing. So when you select the product for your solutioning, so they will be releasing various versions. So how you are going to integrate, how it is going to affect your downstream and upstream. So you need to plan those activities very diligently. Integration with new components. So something new comes into the picture into your product architect. So how you are going to accommodate those changes and those new features. So it needs to be really adaptable solution while designing your product architect. Test automation effectiveness, that also plays very important role. Then product technical documentation is again vital when you do the product architect. Whenever new team member comes into your project, so he needs to pick up the things very fast, and that can happen via some documentation. Effective integration of DevOps pipeline. So whatever CI/CD pipeline is there, so that needs to be really matured within your team. Then product upgrade plan, new members integration and KT plan, that needs to be in place, because nowadays it is very common to leave people within 1 year or 2 years. So you need to plan your new member induction within team in a fast way. Marketing and documentation and presentation, these are common things when it comes to the product architect. So when you play the role of product architect, you need to be very close while dealing with the marketing people, right? So you need to plan those activity from marketing point of view also, because when you develop any product or when you purchase any product for further development, you need to deal with lots of marketing activity there. So that is all about product architect. So as part of web application architect, again, it is a wider role, but here I'm talking about 2 points only. That is building solution at a scale or mitigation strategy and load scaling. So as part of scalable solution, you need to see the graceful degradation, throttling, back pressure handling, load shifting, and circuit breaker techniques you need to use to optimize the performance and make it more scalable solution. Now coming to the next part, which is load sharing. So that's where your horizontal scaling and vertical scaling plays very important role. So you upgrade your hardware, you increase RAM and processing power, or you introduce many nodes and you use that load balancing kind of activity as part of horizontal scaling. So that is all about web application architect. Again, it's a wider role, lots of things we can do, but I have mentioned only about building the solution at scale and load scaling. Coming to the next part, which is system architect. So as part of system architect, you need to really go deep dive into operating system. So how that operating system working, how that communication happen within the network, and how the operating role comes into the picture. So that's where you need to have really deep understanding of either Linux or Windows operating system, then backup and disaster recovery, authentication and authorization framework you need to implement as part of the system architect, then user access management, server configuration. So when you play the role of system architect, you need to configure email server, web server, DHCP server, and many more such servers, right? So as part of system architect, you may need to test and approve and release various softwares and tools. Apart from that, there is a performance optimization, system upgrade strategy, and virtualization and Docker image building is again common activity as part of your system architect role. Coming to the next part, which is security. Again, since beginning I'm mentioning, right? Security is very vital as part of your architect role. So I have seen some architect, they are very good in technically, but very weak in terms of the security aspect of their project. So please enhance yourself in terms of security also if you really want to take your architectural journey to the next level. And that's where you need to think about some design enterprise security models, categorization of security services, firewall configuration, endpoint security, email security, data sharing security, network data security, security governance model, security risk and compliance, that is very important, cloud security, data categorization, and solid understanding of security protocol, cryptography, authentication, and authorization. So whatever I mentioned here, all these keywords, so you need to really have at least high level understanding of those concepts so that you will be in a better position to architect your software. Now coming to the architectural characteristic. So whenever you plan to architect any solution, it needs to be scalable. Okay. And you can see here, it has some traffic patterns, then elasticity, then some latency you need to manage as part of the scalability of the solution. Then security, as I told you, right, it plays very important role. Then durability means anything goes wrong, it should be fault tolerant, there should be replication, it should be available. Now coming to the resiliency, it needs to be a resilient, right? It should be accommodative. So that's where your resiliency comes into the picture. Agility, and as part of agility, it needs to be deployable, configurability, and maintainability comes into the picture. Now coming to the next part of architectural characteristic, where extensibility means suppose you want to add new feature, new module, so it should be extensible solution. Then it should be consistent. There should not be any inconsistency. Usability, it should be in a reusable format, right? It should be API driven. Then it should be easy to learn and it should be easy to accessible. Availability, no doubt, it plays very important role. So if anything goes wrong with any node or any component, still it should be in a workable position. Then coming to the next part, which is observability. So once you deploy your solution or you productionize it, so you need to manage it and monitor it, right? That's where alert and monitoring plays very important role. Your structure of L1, L2, L3 support and logging plays very important role, right? So these are some of the characteristics you need to take care of while designing your solution. So that is all about architectural characteristic. Now coming to the some popular frameworks as part of your architectural journey. So that's where TOGAP is very famous. But again, if you want to design various diagram use cases, so that's where UML, that is Unified Modeling Language, plays very important role. Then we have integrated architectural framework, so that also you can learn and study. And apart from that, there is a business analysis body of knowledge, and it is internationally recognized body, and they come up with some business analytics level development guidelines. So you can refer them, and you can take your architectural journey to next level. So this is all about your technical architect journey. So this is as per my experience again. And if you really want to take it to the next level, so please get into those basic concepts, so that you will be in a better position to convert your high level requirement into low level designing, right? And when it comes to the actual implementation, again, that is different ball game. So that's where you need to be very good at the programming and data modeling and that particular database, right? So that's where low level implementation comes into the picture, your networking concept, and what tools and technology you are going to leverage. So in short, your solution needs to be very adaptable and reusable as part of your architectural journey. So please put in the comment section what skills you are planning to adapt as part of your architectural career, technical architectural career. Thank you for listening.